Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday, February 13th regular City Council meeting. City Clerk D. Stiles Elliott, will you please call roll?
Mayor Benjamin.
Present.
Councilmember DeLira.
Here.
Councilmember Bergeron.
Here.
Councilmember Gaither.
Here.
Councilmember Guido.
Here.
Councilmember Parks.
Here.
Councilmember Weller.
Present.
Councilmember Wright.
Here.
Good evening, everyone. These announcements that I make, the first thing I want to address is that this is our first meeting with our new order of agenda, so that you're aware of it. And some of the changes that are come with this agenda is that for community comments, those comments, rather than being at the end of the meeting, during the new business time, now will follow mayor's announcement. So after my announcement piece, then that's when we'll have community comments, and that's related to issues that are not on the agenda item. For issues that are community comments on final action items for the agenda, that will follow comments later. So that'll follow future agenda requests in the agenda. And then we've also added in a section for city council member comments. And for this meeting, I'll start at my right and work left if there's any comments, and as we figure out that. So on to comments, we do have applications being considered for the following groups. Please apply to the city's website: Arts Commission, Cemetery Committee, Environmental Resilience Commission. The city playfield, there's a new shelter that's under construction at the city playfield, so be sure to check it out. For the senior center, February 27th is the last day to register for the La Ti Da, the ultimate high tea experience. This 6-course service and 2-hour experience will quickly transport you to another time and place, creating memories and a lifetime to come. Register on the Parks and Recs website. For the Pullman Aquatic Center, is hosting a Family Fun Friday this week. It'll have a showing of Finding Dory on their floating screen. Learn more about Family Fun Fridays at pullmanswims.com. And for the Neal Public Library, come decorate a cookie at Neal Public Library on February 14th from 3 to 4 p.m. This event is open to youth of all ages. And the last piece is we've had, for those that are watching online, those here haven't noticed it, we've had some technical issues with some of our hardware equipment with the video and audio, and that's what has been causing the problem. We're working on a fix related to that. So the next item in the agenda is community comments. This is an agenda item. There's an opportunity for the public to bring comments, concerns, or other non-agenda related items to the attention of the elected officials. Is there anyone that would like to speak on a non-agenda item? So if it's an item on the agenda, that comes later in the session. So this is for a non-agenda item. I think you want to speak. Are you wanting to speak to something that we'll be voting on?
Yes.
Then there's another section for that.
But also things that you won't be voting on.
So you can speak as time if it is something that is not before us that we're voting on. So please.
And then you might be able to clarify for me if something's being voted on or not, which I'm not completely clear on. Is that okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Well, with what you're not voting on regarding PLO, thank you. And I think I told some of you I'd never be up here again about a week ago. So, sorry. Apollo reached out. The construction manager seemed like a really nice man. Coog, VP's a Coog, and honestly excited that these are people that know our community, care about it. And despite everything that's come to date, look forward to working alongside of them. I would ask that the idea of mitigating traffic and parking within the paradigm that's currently chosen is thoroughly explored. I'd ask that council ask staff, I believe, I don't want to speak for anybody, but I believe Volch-Comer, Apollo, our community, all are here for that. I think the council is as well concerning everything that they know that we're facing. So anything that might mitigate, that would allow for Main Street currently to maximize its use for vehicular traffic and parking through the construction would be ideal. All else can happen later in terms of attending to new traffic issues and deploying shuttles and activating other parking spots. But this itself, in terms of what happens on Main Streets, the decision will be happening now, so it's timely, and I think should be addressed now.
Thank you very much.
Yes, then if we can clarify a question in terms of communications, there will be a vote regarding communications tonight and hiring for that?
Yes, so that public comment will come later in the meeting.
Okay. And do a limited amount of time here that I can speak?
3 minutes, please.
How much do I have left?
Down to about a minute and a half.
Thank you. In the broad sense, communications, it is a small community. People are connected. And I would simply say that when we deploy people to do work for the city, whether it's in an official status or not, when they function as such, it's not done so in some sneaky, stealthy, goofy way that poisons the well for future work. I have high faith that people that I've seen content created for the city could do extremely good work for the city, promoting our city, our downtown, giving a good direction as to what's happening with traffic, et cetera. I just wish that that had been done in a very different way. And more broadly speaking, in the future, that it is done in the right way. So, thank you. I think I probably have 20 seconds. I was to speak to city goals, but I think I'd rather just write council. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wants to speak on a non-agenda item? Okay, then we'll move on. The next item of the agenda is city council member comments, and I'll start with council member Gaither.
No comment.
Councilmember Delera, and please keep to 3 minutes for us also.
Yeah, I guess this is more of like a collaborative thing with Eric. We met with the Student Local Advocacy Pullman RSO at WSU, and we had a really fruitful discussion on what ideas they had around public transportation, trails, lighting and walking experiences around the Ward 2 area. Definitely love the ideas that they had, and they seemed really energized and excited to be engaged with local government. So I'm hoping we could collaborate with them in the future. So, yeah.
Thank you. Councilmember Weller? Councilmember Guido?
No comment at this
Councilmember Wright?
No comment at this time.
Councilmember Parks?
No comment.
Councilmember Fajarin?
No comment.
Great. And as mayor, I don't have any additional comments. So next item on the agenda is is city council and mayor future regular agenda requests. Are there any future agenda requests? Seeing none, move on to the next item is community comments on final action items. So this is a person may comment on any agenda item that the city council will take final action, including the consent agenda, but excluding items where public comment was previously accepted. This would include, and because of that, we've previously had public hearing on the regular agenda item 1 and 2, so public comment would only be related to the rest of the items on the agenda. And with that, Jandy? And
Cut me off if it's not appropriate. So I'm Jandy Utzman, and I am retired, but I own a small retail store downtown and promote Pullman. So I'm here about advertising for downtown through the construction. I'm not here to sway votes, but as I did events, I really got to know the businesses in the downtown deeper, and I have a list that I hope that they'll consider. Number one, I just see so many businesses that could be so much more profitable if they had an asset of somebody helping with social media. So I did hear some rumbles that maybe that's in play. I hope so. I really see a lot. I think they could increase their revenues by 30% if they would do social media. So if you could implement some kind of plan, I think that would carry forward decades for these businesses. I hate public speaking, can you tell? A campaign to drive customers downtown, I'm sure they're working on that. I would love to see during the construction weekly posts about here we are in the construction, here's better places that are easily open, here's a couple that might be shut down for a week or two, And then keep emphasizing, because I didn't even realize till I sat down and did a post, that we have like 25 restaurants downtown. Until you really sit down and list them, you go, there's a lot more down here than you think. And so if we could keep driving that message home. High Street Plaza is, I think, just such a nugget that's just underutilized. I know those seats are going away. They've been well received. So if we could somehow make that look better, it could be like a flashing open sign to the whole downtown. I really think you could somehow have a kiosk that has the maps of what it's going to be like, or get maps to the downtown businesses that are willing, because I have heard feedback, the public doesn't really know, but if they were walking along and saw those signs, I think that would be really helpful. And I think that's it. I'm just glad to be going forward on all this, and good luck, everybody.
Thank you. Are there any other comments on items that are on the agenda? If not, we'll move on to confirmation of appointments. And we have sorry, my pages are mixed up. And with this one, we have, at this time, we'd like to appoint Karen Sires, Joe Pitzer, Rob Rembert, Allison Munch-Rotello, and Rick Grunwald to the Salary Commission for elected officials with the term ending July 31st, 2024. Is the item, and I'd need a motion and a second and discussion on it.
Move to confirm.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of appointing these five to the Salary Commission signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next on to presentations, and our City Administrator, Mike Urban, on the council goals and priorities. And thank you again for waiting till this week in order to have this discussion from the previous council meeting.
No, thank you for giving me some extra time. I was able to change the date at the bottom of this. I remembered tonight when we put that in, but because it was already stored in. But I would love the opportunity to go over the 2023 City Council goals as they were adopted. So there we go. So for those of you going through this the first time, how did we get here? In February of 2022, the City Council held a retreat. And then in March of 22, they had the first goal-setting work session, which worked into April of 22, the second goal-setting session, forming up the final product for adoption on May 3rd of 2022. So that gave staff the direction to start getting some work done and start building a budget around not only the regular operations that we need to perform for the community, but as well as the adopted goals and priorities. And as part of that document, which was included in your agenda, there was quarterly updates that were asked to be provided. So we started providing those, and you can see the one in red at the bottom for January at the end of the year. The goal was to come back in the January meeting and do the kind of the one-year recap in person. So the others were via email on the spreadsheet that I tracked that everybody got a copy of. And I was back here January of last year, and I was to be back in January, and we just postponed that for a little bit. So I'm here now in February to do the synopsis of the 22-23 goals now to you on the update. So I'm going to post these and kind of go through my spreadsheet, which everybody got a copy of. And if you'll notice on my spreadsheet, the way we're tracking it, for lack of a better answer, is red are those items that haven't got started or something happened that put a halt on it. Green were the completed items, and yellow are items in progress. And you'll see as you're going through here, there's a lot of yellow, but there's a lot of items in here that really don't have an end date to it. They're always kind of like weed control. I don't know about your guys' yards, but it seems like I'm always doing weed control, and that just kind of goes on and on and on. So you can see the updates as they went across, but I'll just hit the highlights after the last quarter on this. So this item, find ways to assist. Working on a parking and freight delivery plan. Originally, we were hoping to debut that at the end of February. It looks like we're going to need just a little more time. We had a small work group that took on this yesterday. We got some follow-up pieces, and we wanted to work with the contractor a little bit more on that. So there'll be more on the freight plan as the days go on. Establishing the name brand for the project, that's been going on since the second quarter of 22. We've been using Project Downtown. Clean up public spaces and fixtures, implement weed control. Again, like I mentioned at the top of this, it's ongoing. They keep coming back. We keep fighting the weeds back. It's a big city, lots of sidewalks, lots of trails, and we're keeping on top of it through our Parks Department. And if there's any reports of it, we certainly go to it at that time. Then on the downtown piece, we also had research and discussed the implementation of a downtown district. The city is supported to complete the Main Street application. We've provided all the information to the DPA at this time, and the mapping item that was previously discussed has not come back at this point. It continues to be good as the way it is. Probably could have made it green on this in your spreadsheet, but because the Main Street piece hasn't been turned in yet, I felt like I wanted to keep it yellow. Regulating downtown drive-through businesses, Ordinance 22-27 was passed by the City Council in December of 2022. And then a city ordinance on downtown storefront facades. And what we've learned through talking to the DPA about their Main Street program is that accreditation might give us some additional funding source opportunities, being a Main Street program for grants. And staff's going to continue to monitor the accreditation process and work with the DPA director on any potential paths forward on these items. City ordinance on empty buildings. We do have a draft ordinance presentation item prepared for the City Council, and we're hoping to be back in front of you later this quarter to present that. And then the disposition of the 325, whoops, no, happy clicker, going backwards, doink, doink, there we go. Of the 325 property, which is the old, commonly called the old City Hall. Police Department, the Detectives Division occupy the third floor of that, and right below them is their workout room now. We have the Maintenance and Operation Department on the other end of the second floor. District Court continues to operate through there, and we do have a contract with them through the rest of the year. I do have on my file to reach out to Jessica come June about what to do for the next 2-year piece on that. Jessica Jensma is the county administrator. And the roof repairs were completed at the end of last quarter, and the HVAC repairs have commenced, but we're going to have to wait to test them because it's still too cold. You don't want to fire up those coolers at this temperature yet, so they may have to come back and do a little bit of work here in the second quarter. We're all hoping for warmer days. Okay. So on the boards and commissions tab, developing a board and commission handbook, that was completed, and those handbooks were originally distributed, but now as we're bringing on new members, we're going to want to get those new handbooks in front of them as well. The new council members that all went through some time with me on some onboarding received a copy of that. Review and update the public art process. We're waiting on the Arts Commission piece. It's going to be a couple down from here. So work with community partners to restore the Arts Commission. So we are continuing, as the mayor said at the beginning of the meeting, we're recruiting for those positions. Right now, there still is only one person on the Arts Commission. So we're hoping to have some more news and consider some alternatives maybe early next quarter. Okay, enhanced communications, harmonize the city website. Our new website went live on November 27th, and we're updating and responding to requests for additional content as we continue to receive that. And then we're also trying to figure out ways to maximize that and improve communications as well. Ensure early and timely notifications on construction activities downtown. A key component of this is on the regular agenda tonight, so we're going to touch on that a little bit too, and as well as Welch Comer. But adding enhanced communication piece for the duration of the project is a key component to this, and there is money earmarked exactly for that. Increased public feedback, coffee with council members. We did hold successful town hall on the 26th of September, and we'll be returning in March, it looks like, and doing some more outreach that the mayor will be talking about a little bit later tonight as well under discussion items. Improved closed caption on city council meetings. We have completed that back in June of 22, and we're actually trying to take the next step with this too, using some software that pulls the dialogue from these council meetings and can put them into what was actually said. Working through a couple pieces to make sure that the voice capture is right, and the key to that voice capture is, of course, having our microphones close to us so we can speak into it. So we're still testing, but hoping, Dee, maybe by the end of the second quarter, this can be a go-live piece. Okay. And promote community volunteering and the commissions and committees. As the mayor mentioned at the beginning of this meeting, we are looking for some positions to go on to some open seats. Review and update the code of conduct for staff and elected and appointed officials. That was passed on October 24th of 2023. The mayor kicked off the new year by going over that piece with the council, and now that the salary commission has been formed, memo is going to go out to them and the other boards and commissions, updating them on the code of conduct as well. Support collaboration and education. First item is emphasize the importance of collaborating with community entities. The Blue Zone was a particular interest, and we got hustling on the Blue Zone middle of last year, and what it really came down to on that particular issue is it's going to take an effort from a larger group, and there was a significant cost component to it, and trying to figure out how we can best partner, especially with the hospital and the medical centers, to be effective on that is the piece on it. But we continue to engage with WSU and SEL, and of course our school district partners on some of our co-located items, especially the aquatic center. Have hired consultants collaborate and work with one another to reduce overlap. We continue to monitor our consultants and make sure that if their work overlaps, that we make them aware of each other. As of today, we do have 7 consultants on retainer, possibly an 8th jumping on this after or later this meeting, depending on council's actions. So we will work with them as well. Promote and support community efforts around homelessness. There's a point in time count that happens this quarter at the, that's ordered by the state and the feds. So we're looking towards seeing what that response is. As soon as we hear from them, which is usually middle of the second quarter towards the end, we will report that back. And then just looking for continued opportunities to engage on this particular activity. Mostly it's been through community action if we have a chance, but from time to time we find other folks, and our police department will make contact, and they do have some ability to help with some overnight settings on that. Accessible health care. This is one staff really struggled with, especially in light of these other items. We had a hard time trying to find where to really engage with folks on, doing this type of thing. So we're going to be doing a lot of debriefing on this going into next year, and especially with all the other items that were in here. Attainable Housing, Housing Commission, Housing Trust. This was a group that Councilmember Guido was involved in. We had staff involved in this and talking about different opportunities. On that, we talked about what it would take for a trust and pieces, and I think you guys met as recently as this week. Yes. So that group does continue to meet. Support future bypass. If you look at your spreadsheet, you'll notice that this one went from yellow to red. And I want to call special attention to that because we did get some news over the last couple of weeks on this particular piece that Whitman County is trying to engage somebody to write a raise grant to make the San Kirkendall Road the bypass. We were unaware of this, and it's kind of down the road. So we put it back in red because we wanted to get some more council discussion on this to see if that is something that is even supported. Because if this grant goes through and that becomes the bypass and it doesn't alleviate the traffic off of downtown, we will be left to go request funding for a future bypass somewhere else without any regional partners, because the county will have already done their part. When I found out about this, I was gravely concerned, and I continue to remain that way and look forward to more discussion on this. I think we need to work together with our partners. Continue to support Pullman Regional Airport projects. The terminal construction is nearing completion by the end of the second quarter, and this item was included in both the 23 and 2024 legislative priorities. Economic development. Remain focused on the Pullman businesses. Economic development manager is working on some outreach and some different things that we can do for all city businesses as we go through this project coming up this summer, because we expect all businesses to be affected, even by the ancillary traffic coming off of downtown and going to other places. Promote and support the strategic tourism plan and marketing plan. Strategic marketing subgroup continues to meet monthly, and we're going to be looking on some touch points from them through the economic development manager as part of the previous item to remain focused, see what we can implement on doing those types of items. Develop an apprentice program through the city of Pullman. Public Works continues to support 2 interns year-round, and the city council approved a communication intern that is working with us through the rest of the WSU school year. She was in here taking your pictures earlier, doing a really great job. And looking for additional opportunities as they become identified and they can be financially supported. Research and discuss implementation of a transportation benefit district. Ordinance 23-8 was approved by the city council in April of last year, creating the transportation benefit district, albeit unfunded. We've met quarterly and talked about some additional items, and the Transportation Board has instructed staff to return with a resolution for a 1/10% sales tax increase to begin funding the district, and the next meeting for that discussion will be the 27th of March. So that will be coming in front of the Transportation Benefit District Board, which we will solve you in a different hat. Other priorities, research and discuss the red light cameras and the barn dance. Barn dance was presented to council as part of review of Project Downtown, and it was believed that the pedestrian count requires higher volumes to make diagonal crossing more effective at this time. And on the 12th of July in 2022, red light camera presentation was presented to the city council, and no further direction was given at that time. Enhance the city wellness committee and provide mental health annual first aid training. Wellness committee has been really active. We were approved for another Well City, which equates to a 2% discount on medical premiums for the city. Internal staff analysis is working on a citywide fitness program to see if we can get that implemented as part of the next budget process. And mental health education schedules there's signups out there already. for first quarter events this year. Provide a program for mental health first aid training for the community. That has happened in 2023, Q1 and Q2, as well as Q4. Q4 was actually, we started offering the QPR classes, and those have been very well attended because it's a shorter block of time. The community likes that a lot better. To the point, staff has been scheduled now for some QPR this quarter as well. So there's a time period that folks can feel like they can go out and make a difference. So we've adopted that internally as well. Work to show support and value to our employees. Annual health and wellness fair went off real well, except right afterwards last year we had a gas line break almost immediately as it was locking up. So I think we kind of lost some of the great stuff we did jumping right into an emergency, but we're already planning for November of this year. It was very well attended by staff. They continue to run, Wellness Committee continues to run the Cheers for Peers, which is the internal program, and then the Pullman Proud, which is the external program for positive engagement. And we'll be looking at other opportunities coming into this next budget cycle to continue to enhance that. Provide diversity, equity, inclusion training for city staff and elected and appointed officials. We did on-site training in the third quarter last year and worked over some additional things. We've enhanced the program and kind of are offering now we have a 101 class, and then now there's a 102 class for a lot of those folks that want to continue learning more. And our next training date for that is the 22nd, which is next week. Grassy areas. So staff was progressing through the different properties, requests, and events to fulfill this goal. 2 additional staffers are in process of studying and taking the arborist certification in 2024. And some of the raising of the canopy to expose the grass has been paused a little bit while we wait for spring and then really assess should some of these trees go up as high as they're going or should some of them remain lower. Clean up overgrown shrubs, bushes, and perform prompt weed control. Similar to the previous weed control item from the first page, items just continue to remain ongoing. Create natural landscapes and parks to mitigate water usage. As part of the approved conservation ordinance, staff worked on more drought-tolerant and low water consumption options with emphasis on Y-scape material. If you go look next door in front of the Recreation Center, City Hall Landscaping Phase 1, there's almost exclusively all of it is that type of Y-scaping. And this will be addressed more robustly in the Parks Improvement Plan as well, which is about to go out for some RFP. And it was reviewed during the downtown planning update as well with the project. And City Hall Landscaping Phase 2, we're hoping to commence some of that in the second quarter as money allows. Review active transportation in city parks. City Council approved a moratorium in August of 23 to allow staff to study active transportation and allow some more mixed use of that. So far, that comes to an end May of this year, and RJ will be back in front of the council talking about different options at that point. But we're going to continue to monitor. We've heard very few complaints, very few. This is great. Just it's kind of out there, so it's a lot of it's by observation. Improve Sunnyside Park entrance, add ADA parking. Substantial work was completed in 2023. Paving, but due to some delays with the consultant, paving could not be completed in 2023. So we're waiting for the days to get warm enough we can get the paver out there now in 2024. So once those temperatures get warm enough, we will, it's one of the first projects that we're supposed to get done. And we have discussed with our folks as well as our subcontractor on this. It must be done well before the 4th of July. And if it's going much into May, I'm getting a little concerned myself. Investigate establishment of the Daniel Street Park with a historical marker. So our initial research on this was completed, and it doesn't appear that this property qualifies for historical status. Staff cleared the loose asphalt debris and added picnic table as to not limit parking. This is going to be some key parking for Project Downtown, so we want to keep that open. At this time, signage is not recommended to the City Council. If City Council wishes to convert this property into a park after construction of Project Downtown, then that's something we would be happy to look at more. But through this process, staff will be returning to City Council as part of the budget process and CIP with a recommendation about recognizing our historical parks and how they came about and why they're there and who contributed to it. So we're going to be bringing for all of our parks, a plan for some research and some permanent signage so people enjoying the parks can know more about it and why is Rainy Park, and things like that. So that was something that came out of this particular piece, and we want to do that for all the parks. Okay, we're almost there. Develop and implement a parks improvement plan. Funding for this plan was included and approved for 2024 through the CIP. We're anticipating getting the RFP out in 2024, probably middle towards the end of the second quarter, making it a very public process, giving people a chance to come in and weigh in with the consultant, a lot like the BDS plan when we did the downtown piece. So Parks Department is working on that. They're talking to other jurisdictions that have done this recently to come up with the best practices. City Hall landscaping plan, I touched on this a little bit earlier, but I wanted to add another piece in here. After the presentation by the Phoenix Conservancy, I've been talking to the Parks Director a lot about the hill right behind you that goes downhill from here to Crestview, and just how hard that is to maintain and how nice that might look on that downhill slope with some spruce prairie material. So that's something we're looking at as well. Seasonal residential irrigation management program. This was a huge lift for our Public Works Department, and City Council did adopt an ordinance in March of 2023 for residential irrigation. So that was a job completed, and we learned a few things out of that first year of irrigation, and looking forward to implementing any changes that we can and any suggestions for that. So with that, that's my final in-person presentation on this set of goals. Continue the forward momentum we have on some of the work in progress, and then look forward to City Council setting their goals for the next biennial budget, so staff and I can start including that in the budget and get working on continuing to make Pullman great. Unless there's any questions, that's all I have for council at this time.
So any questions, Councilmember Weller?
Mike, I just want to tell you how important you and what you're doing, keeping us organized. I mean, this is not something we've done before you, and so you really have helped quite a bit. So I just wanted to tell you, it's a lot of work. I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate you. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. My staff worked really, really hard on a lot of these, and I went through these as I was writing them up, and I was like, man, there was a lot of yellow on this, but I had a few staffers that were like, no, Mike, we've accomplished a lot. Some of these things are in progress, but think of all the things that we have got done. It's since 2022 when this was set up, we are in a really great spot and ready to make the next jump.
Councilmember Guido?
Yeah, I think it bears repeating. I too am impressed with the accountability. It's fun to look back and say, wow, we have accomplished a lot in 2 years. In the short time that I've been here, impressive to see the work that your staff put into doing this and how many things have been accomplished. I did want to follow up on one of the items was around homelessness, and there is some discussion within the faith community in Pullman, looking at what churches and different interfaith groups are interested in looking at this issue, and I know that Councilmember Weller has spent time on this as well. It continues to be something that we have to keep visible and on our radar screen. There are no easy answers, but there are homeless people in the community, and what we run into oftentimes is liability issues and volunteers who are willing to do this. So I have heard from citizens who have asked about the warming shelter here in City Hall, and accessibility 24/7 is an issue. So we just want to continue to try and look at what we can do as a community to address that. And like you, I'm also concerned about the bypass issue kind of reaching a red status there, because we have to be at the table at these discussions. If there are groups that are moving forward with a bypass solution and we're not there to talk about it, that impacts downtown traffic, which has been a huge component of what we're talking about in terms of downtown and the improvement plan. So I'm concerned to hear that that is moving forward and we're not at the table.
I as well, I heard it from one of our regional partners, and it came as an absolute shock to me that this was that far down the road and we hadn't been contacted yet. So engaging the mayor, engaging the rest of the city council to reach out to the county and start asking them to dialogue with us, especially, you know, can we give you some data on our downtown trips? We have traffic information that, to the best of our knowledge, they've never requested.
Any other comments? If not, thank you very much. I appreciate all your hard work and all of staff's hard work on this.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Okay. Next item is our consent agenda. These items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted by a single motion of the City Council without separate discussion. I'd entertain a motion to read the consent agenda by title only.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? With that, if you would please read the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. The first item is a motion to a motion to dispense with the meeting minutes of January 30, 2024, and approve them as submitted. I believe that's dispense with the reading of the minutes. Item 2 is a motion to approve disbursements for utility refund check numbered 2010402 totaling $713.28. Item 3, a motion to approve disbursements for accounts payable checks numbered 2010403 through 2010464 totaling $517,035.71. Item 4, a motion to approve disbursements for accounts payable checks numbered 111692 through 111701. Electronic transfers 143, 144, and 114, and 1116 through 1120 and 1122. Payroll direct deposits number 90859 through 91196, totaling $1,067,920.37. Item 5, a motion to approve disbursements for accounts payable checks numbered 2010465 through 2010478, totaling $154,095.53. Item 6, a motion to approve disbursements for accounts payable checks numbered 2010479 through 2010516, totaling $195,386.10. Item 7, a motion to approve the purchase of one new 2023 police vehicle. Item 8, a motion to approve the purchase of a new 1.5-ton 4x4 pickup truck upfitted with a utility box and crane. Item 9 is a motion to authorize a lodging tax grant to American Junior Golf Association for an amount up to $40,000 for AJGA Golf Tournament in Pullman. And finally, item 10 is resolution number R-09-24, a resolution authorizing execution of a WaterSmart water and energy efficiency grant for the fiscal year 2024 application to the Bureau of Reclamation for the Advanced Metering Infrastructure Project, authorizing the acceptance and execution of the grant agreement if awarded and other matters related thereto.
Thank you, Thad O'Sullivan. Are there any items that a council member would like to have out for separate discussion? If not, the motion before us is with items 1 through 10. All those in favor of passing items 1 through 10 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Pass. Thank you. Next, we're on to the
Excuse me, Mayor.
there was not so I need a motion for items, to move for passing items 1 through 10 as read, which includes the addition of reading in the first one, the word reading.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you very much. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you for keeping me on track. Next, we're on to regular agenda. The first up is resolution number R-1024, resolution approving the West End Villas Planned Residential Development Preliminary Plan. Because this is a land action, I do need to have each of you confirm the appearance of fairness questions. So I'll ask each question. I'll start down at this end, and we'll just work this way. Just if it's a yes or a no, if it's no, then explain. So first, does any member of this council have knowledge of having conducted business with either the proponent or opponents of this proceeding?
No.
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 Has any member of this council communicated with any proponent or opponent regarding the proposal that is the subject of this proceeding?
No.
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 Thank you. Does any member of this council have either a financial or personal interest in the outcome of this proceeding?
No.
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 Does any member of this council know whether or not their employer has a financial interest in this matter or has an interest in the outcome of this proceeding?
No.
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 Does any member of this council live or own property within 300 feet of the area which is the subject of this proceeding?
No.
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 Does any member of this council have any special knowledge of the substance or merits of this proceeding which would or cause the council member to prejudge the outcome of this proceeding?
No.
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 Is there a member of this council who believes that they cannot sit or hear this matter fairly and impartially, both as a respective position of the proponent and the opponents in this proceeding?
No.
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 And the last one's to the audience. Is there any member of this audience who believes that the appearance of fairness doctrine, because of the appearance of fairness doctrine, wishes to disqualify any member of this council from hearing this matter? If so, please state the name of the council person, the reason or reasons you believe that the member should be disqualified because of the appearance of fairness doctrine. Seeing none, with that, R.J. Lott, our Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. This item on the agenda before you is the preliminary plan of West End Villas. This proposal is to divide approximately 5.26 acres into 65 lots. This would consist of 60 townhouses, 4 lots for open space, and 1 lot as a private road. The site, as shown on the screen in front of you, is located north of Pullman High School, located south of Northwest High Point Court and east of Northwest Valley View Drive. The current zoning designation at this location is R2, low-density multifamily residential. The R2 zoning district allows for a maximum density of 15 units per acre. A planned residential development allows for the flexibility and creativity in the layout and design of new residential developments. This PRD did go through the site plan committee back on May 30th, 2023, and had 45 recommended conditions as outlined in your city staff report, which is included in your packet for this evening. The Planning Commission held a public hearing back on June 28th, 2023 on this item and voted unanimously in favor of a recommendation of approval to the City Council. At the public hearing on June 28th, numerous individuals spoke against the proposal. They cited traffic, parking, and neighborhood character as their chief concerns. Attached to your staff report for this evening are minutes that summarize those concerns. This item originally appeared before the City Council back on July 11th, 2023. The City Council chose to remand the item back to staff with the direction that the applicant prepares and submits a traffic impact analysis regarding potential impacts associated with this project. Subsequently, a traffic impact analysis from the applicant was received by city staff on December 15th, 2023. A review of the analysis by staff from the Public Works Department concluded there was no significant impact with regards to traffic. At this time, city staff recommends a motion to approve the preliminary plan of West End Villas. Are there any questions that I can answer?
Councilmember Guido?
So RJ, there has been some concern related to the narrowness of the streets in the surrounding area, and particularly the idea of a fire truck being able to go through. As part of the record, then, the fire department has signed off on this, correct?
Yes, that's a great question. Fire department reviews all residential developments, including this one.
Okay.
Any other? If not, we have the resolution before us, and that, if you can help me, we adopt the resolution including the findings of fact, or is that embedded in the resolution? Do we need to do?
That's embedded in the resolution.
Okay, so we just-
motion and second, and then I'll get it.
So we just need a motion and a second.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second. That, if you'd read, please.
Resolution number R-10-24, a resolution approving the West End Villas Planned Residential Development Preliminary Plan.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
The next item that we have is Resolution R-1124. This one also requires the appearance of fairness question to be asked, and we'll do it in the same order. So does any member of this council have knowledge of having conducted business with either the proponent or opponents of this proceeding?
No.
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 No. No.
No.
Has any member of this council communicated with any proponent or opponent regarding the proposal that is the subject of this proceeding?
No.
Nope.
No.
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 No. No.
No.
Does any member of this council have either a financial or personal interest in the outcome of this proceeding?
No.
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 No. No.
No.
Does any member of this council know whether or not their employer has a financial interest in this matter or has an interest in the outcome of this proceeding?
No.
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 No. No.
No.
Does any member of this council live or own property within 300 feet of the area which is subject of this proceeding?
No.
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 No. No.
No.
Does any member of this council have any special knowledge of the substance or merit of this proceeding which would or could cause the council member to prejudge the outcome of this proceeding?
No.
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 No. No.
No.
Is there a member of this council who believes that they cannot sit or hear this matter fairly and impartially, both as to the respective position of the proponent and the opponents in this proceeding?
No.
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 No. No.
No.
And to the audience, is there any member of this audience who, because of the appearance of fairness doctrine, wishes to disqualify any member of this council from hearing this matter? If so, please state the name of the council person and the reason or reasons you believe that the member should be disqualified because of the appearance of fairness doctrine. Seeing none, back to you, R.J. Lott, Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening again, council. This item is very similar to the previous item that you just heard. This is for the preliminary plat of West End Villas. Staff recommends a motion to approve the preliminary plat. Are there any questions?
Seeing no questions, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
With that, that'll Stellan, would you please read it?
Resolution number R-11-24, a resolution approving the preliminary plat of the West End Villas planned residential development.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Passes. Thank you, RJ. And with that, now the next one, resolution number R-1224, and with that, Mike Urban.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening again, Council. Before you tonight is Resolution R-12-24, authorizing the execution of a professional services agreement with Welch Comer for Phase 3 of the downtown project, for which was just approved the contract last week with Apollo, Inc. Phase 3 is part of the original RFP when the downtown project first began. Welch Comer was selected by the City Council from 4 proposals back in October of 2021. So we added a Phase 0 right after the proposal for Phases 1, 2, and 3. And Phase 0 was that original surveying piece. So this would be the last of 4 pieces, even though it's labeled as Phase 3. So asking Welch Comer to come in and do construction management on this is really important to make sure the contractor and the project stays on time, because staff availability to perform this work and keep other projects moving is just not feasible. We do need some professional help, as you can see by the scope of work. And before I turn it over to Matt Gillis from Welch Comer to discuss the scope of work, I want to point out a couple particular items that I will emphasize. Project components that will continue and remain in the purview of the consultant as the primary delivery is that communications piece, project website updates, the multimedia public outreach effort, and the construction meetings. Matt.
Thank you, Mike. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council, Matt Gillis, Welch Comer Engineers. There it is. As Mike mentioned, I'm here for you. I'll give a very brief presentation, 5 to 7 minutes, and then please stop me at any point because we're going to just talk through the generalities of the construction phase services agreement, as Mike mentioned, to help you through that construction process. Just as a quick review of the contractual nature of all the parties involved, this is probably apparent to you, but I find it is helpful to remind everyone, including those watching and in the audience. The City of Pullman, in short order here, will sign a contract with Apollo, Inc., the contractor. So you have a contractual tie with them. Then, if you choose tonight, you would have a separate contract with your engineer, Welch Comer. It's important to distinguish that there is no contractual tie between the contractor and the engineer. It's probably obvious, but we want to have an unbiased, unconnected relationship with the contractor because we are representing you. And so our primary job, and I'm happy to get into the weeds on any of this, just ask me and I will, but our first priority ahead of any service to the city itself is to the health and welfare and safety of the public. So number one is to the public. We're also responsible for informing the public about what is happening, and I'll talk about that in just a little more detail later on in the presentation. We are also tasked with enforcing the contract that you are signing with Apollo. It's an 800, 900-page document with the contract documents. And so we are also, so by enforcing that document, we're ensuring that the construction of Main Street is done in accordance with the contract documents, the plans, the specifications, and all the requirements associated with those. So those are just the very high umbrella description of the services. There's a lot of words on this slide, but it isn't intended to confuse anybody. It's just a very general administrative structure of how we are going, or how we're proposing to serve the city. Of course, at the very top is city staff, and we'll talk in the coming weeks on the chain of command up here, who's involved, who isn't. We don't know that quite yet. But I will serve the city as the overall project manager from the engineering side, and I have a team of staff in our office and other offices, which I'll get to, which will, everybody's got a specific level of expertise doing a specific thing that's very important to the project. Very quickly, we'll have technical staff and the engineers, because technical things are going to come up during this project that we'll have to address on the fly. So Adam will handle a lot of that. As important as the technical services are the administrative services. With the amount of dollars that are exchanging here, it's very important that we keep very close tabs on pay requests and change orders and funding and all that, and that's Lena's job as a project administrator. One of the most important jobs on site is our resident project representative. So literally, Jim Tucker will be on site every single day. The contractor's on site, watching every move that they make, documenting everything that they do, ensuring that it's being done in accordance with the contract documents. A lot of documentation. And then you all know Courtney. Courtney, like in the design phase, she will be integral to the outreach of the construction phase. And so she'll be handling news releases, website updates, weekly newsletters, outreach to specific business people, and she will be interacting daily with our on-site representative so that they each know what the other's doing, because it's very important. Their jobs are different, but a lot of the information they need to know is the same. And then finally, we've heard through this process that while our outreach effort during the design phase was probably appropriate for a design phase, the construction phase needs to be more robust. We need to make it better. We need to be more aggressive in how we communicate what's happening to the general population of Pullman and those impacted by the project itself. And so we chose to hire Adam Ratliff from Recraft, because I saw some of his videos. And so our proposal is Recraft is not promoting the city, he's not promoting the project, and he's not promoting Welch Comer. His function is to inform the public. And he has a talent for doing that. He's got the staff and the equipment to get the word out. So he and Courtney will also interact quite a bit, because she'll know what's happening in the trenches, so to speak, and Courtney and I will disseminate information that we believe needs to be broadcast to the public. And that will be done at least partially through Adam. I think we've got a video that will go out to social media at least every 2 weeks, plus any major event that happens. For instance, if some traffic change or parking change happens unexpectedly because of construction things going on, we need to get that out quickly. We don't have time for a press release that, frankly, most people aren't going to read, and we don't have time to wait to produce a newsletter. We need to get it out to as many people as possible, as quickly as possible. So that is the intent of those shared duties. I believe that adding Recraft to the team doesn't replace anything, it supplements what we're trying to do. Okay. Any questions on that, or we can come back to it? The communication plan is very robust, and again, I'm not going to read through all this unless you'd like me to. I'm primarily showing you this to demonstrate that we've thought through how to communicate to whom, when, and with what information. Because each audience is a little bit different in what information that they need and how they receive it. And so this is our effort to touch everybody that we can. So some upcoming, so we have a lot of work to do before construction starts, tentatively, and we've had some preliminary conversations with the contractor. They're not obligated to because they don't have a contract yet, but I've had a few conversations which are great. So between now and April 1st, there's a lot of work to do, but from an outreach standpoint, we have two primary events. One is a neighborhood open house type meeting where my team, both the design and the outreach team and the contractor, will attend a meeting. We're still trying to figure out exactly the format of the meeting. We need to talk to staff a little bit more. We're still trying to figure out the venue. So it's all happening as we speak, like literally on my way down here today. And so that'll happen in the next couple weeks. Separate from that, and after that, we will host an open house workshop. There's been requests from primarily the business community to sit before the design team and just ask questions about the design. So my vision is we have roll plots of the design, we lay it out, and we look people in the eye and we have a conversation. We're not going to promise anything can change, but we will promise that we'll listen and that we'll consider changes or answer questions where we can. So those two are coming, and we're committed to those. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great. And
Whoops.
thank you very much. And before we go to questions on the council, one thing that I did have a question asked of me related to my relationship with Recraft. Recraft was involved in my this campaign. When I found out that Welch-Comer was considering them and seeing how they were proposing to use it, one of the things I did is I communicated that relationship. This is a small town. It is hard not to have connection points in that way, but then also made it very clear that I wanted for them to be the one making the decision of who they hired in that piece. I didn't want to influence that piece. So that's just in case there's any questions related to that. With that, I think, Nathan, you had a question, and then Councilmember Guido.
Well, I'll start off with this meeting that you're talking about with the open house. Yeah, I've had a lot of questions about change orders. That's something that people will bring ideas or talk to you about what can and cannot be done, and is that correct?
At second meeting, that's the...
Second.
So let's think of it this way. The first meeting, I think, will be, how is construction going to impact us? Right? I think that's the immediate concern. And then second, we'd like to know a little bit more about the design specifics and ask questions about the design specifics.
Okay, and then the other thing, and I just wanted to say, well, first of all, a few things. I wanted to thank Francis Benjamin. I know he had a list of FAQs that he had sent out to. I think that was really very, very great, and I'm not sure if he's probably shared it with you.
I don't know if I've seen it.
I'm still gathering
Okay,
responses from
sorry.
council members.
Sorry, I
So
shouldn't
you'll
have-
get it in the next day, but it's from all of our conversations we've had on the ground of what are the things that we've heard from businesses, from community members, of the questions they have, so that you have the most current list of questions that are top of mind for people.
Sorry about that. Maybe I should have waited for
That's
it.
okay.
But
No,
I
you're
wanted to
fine.
recognize the effort that was put in there. And I also want to say, Francis, I appreciate, Mayor, I appreciate the transparency about Recraft. I think, as you might be aware, Matt, Mr. Gillis. There is some consternation, some trust issues that have arisen during this process, not only with communication, but in particular, Recraft. I did get to talk to Adam personally, and he did, when we talk, say it really came out of his interest to explain and give back to the community. I appreciate his response, but I do hope you understand there is some trust issues. And as the mayor has mentioned, having Recraft on his campaign, I hope you can understand, it's of course up to you, that it doesn't look good. And it does look like favoritism. And with us already starting in a hole regarding trust, we need to find a way to bridge that and come out of that hole as best we can. And don't get me wrong, Recraft's media is very impressive. He's very gifted, but I just want to make sure that you understand the feedback that I've received, that there is a lot of issues. And I'm assuming, since Thad is here, that all of this is above board, there's nothing illegal going on here, that this has all been okay.
Understood, and thank you for that. I am aware of the trust issues that are surrounding the project. And I'm going to, how do I say this? I'm going to hire who I believe will serve the city and the project the best. And I am very comfortable with the content that Recraft puts out, especially when we're going to review anything that goes out. And so I get it, I understand it, and we're currently working to build those bridges right now, talking with people that need to hear from us, and we've been doing that kind of behind the scenes, and we'll continue to do that. We'll talk to anybody, anytime.
Councilmember Guido?
I was going to say, congratulations on adding Adam to the communications team. I think it's a smart move to add a videographer, and that component to the multimedia communication channels is important. I'm also really pleased to see, which we asked for, meetings with the public and businesses, not guaranteeing that, you know, the instant changes if someone has concerns about something, but at least listening and hearing and thinking and being open to something that wouldn't be hard to do, and it might have been an oversight to begin with, being open to those. So I think those are important things to add, and I'm glad to see them in there. And I don't want to beat a dead horse, but the communications piece is just so critical. And we didn't do it enough, and we've got to over-communicate. And the more you can tell people what you're going to tell them and how many times you're going to tell them and the frequency, I mean, that chart they have up there, I think, is a great start. And if you could break it down even more, and, you know, maybe it's Adam saying, here's how often we're going to do an update, and chunks, because I think that's what people need on social media. And a website is great, and that's expected, and that'll be a source, and we need to improve the website for the project. But the more we can tell them what we're going to tell them and do it as many times as possible and deliver on it, that's how you're going to build the trust. So I'm sure I'm telling you nothing new, but you know, people are begging for it. And what I've been hearing is, when do we find out how often you communicate, how you're going to communicate? They're not even asking for the information at this point because they know that we've had to wait until we got the scope of the project and we knew the contractor was on board, et cetera. But just feeding that information to them at this point, if we do it tonight, and get started, I would say do it tonight after, assuming we vote. That's how much we need to make up for lost time.
Thank you for that. Depending on how the council acts, one of our first actions, other than preparing for these upcoming meetings and communicating with the contractor, is to get that plan onto the website as a first step, because the website does need to get updated. And then we'll jump off from there.
Councilmember Parks?
Thank you. Thank you, Matt, for the information and the plan going forward. That is really helpful. I just wanted to mention that as a council, we are committed to also being ambassadors, if you will, or communicators. So I know Mayor's already been doing some going in and personally visiting businesses, and many of us are willing and wanting to do that as well. So we won't obviously go gate and just say whatever we want, but we'll follow whatever the rubric is for communication. But I think it's important, a lot of us feel it's important that we get out there as well. And sometimes maybe the owner's not there when one of you stop by, or maybe, they know us. And so I just want to let you know that we are committed to doing that within whatever framework is appropriate.
Wonderful.
Councilmember Wright?
And I would echo those sentiments as well. And I don't think we can communicate enough on this. And this is where the rubber meets the road. And so we need to be involved not just at a high level, but at a more direct level than we ever were in the early stages of the project. And I mean, the buck stops here. I mean, that's just it. It's great to have you guys there as a backup and a facilitator for us, but it stops right here with us. And we have put a lot on the line to get to this point, and I don't think any of us are willing to step back and abandon. I mean, it is just going to be full involvement. And we had a Lodging Tax Advisory Commission meeting this afternoon. And even at that meeting, with some of the participants there, we were getting ideas and suggestions about, just from a marketing standpoint, of some of the things that we can do to help the businesses. And I think we're gonna get that enthusiasm. And this was just a small group. As we start rolling these things out, we're gonna get, I think, some of that enthusiasm, and hopefully it will become contagious. And thank you for being willing to partner with us through this, and I guess we're going to have fun now, right? Thank you.
Councilmember Jalera?
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. I do have one question around if community members have ideas around that would require a change order request. Sorry if I'm mixing up terminology. Are there ideas that would need to be kind of fielded out before April 1st? Are there any, I don't know if my question makes sense.
I think I understand your question.
Yeah.
And I think there will be, I guess, categories of change requests. If somebody came in and said, hey, I have an idea, I want to widen the road. Well, at this point, a change like that, we're way past that. Okay, we've moved past that. If it's something like, hey, this tree, if we could move it 5 feet east or west, and it wasn't negatively impacting a water service or a sewer service or a light pole or something else, those are the types of things I think are easy considerations. Can we do them? I don't know. I think, and that will be the answer to everybody is, I don't know if we can do this. We're gonna consider it. We're gonna talk to the client to see if it can happen. If it's a no, we'll explain, no, this can't happen because, and we'll give them a good technical reason. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that was super helpful. Could I ask another question? I did some rounds with the businesses, and in some cases, there is a language barrier in terms of communication. Will there be staff who are equipped to have conversations in different languages?
To an extent. It was brought to my attention that there are, was it 9 different languages spoken on Main Street? That's what I was told. I haven't confirmed that. I don't know for sure. That could be a challenge here and there. I don't have an answer for you on that one right now.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Any other? If not, then I'd entertain a motion.
Move to authorize the execution of a professional services agreement with Welch Comer for the downtown Pullman project Phase 3. That would be resolution number R-12-24.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you, Matt. And then and I know one of the questions they're going to be that we're hearing is who are contacts, and I'm sure with your first information, you're going to be communicating how people can communicate in the midst of this project.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next item is a discussion item. This is follow-up from the retreat that we had on February 3rd, and in preparation for the goal setting. The thing that, as a council, you were interested in was having a public input session that would be prior to goal setting as an opportunity for us to meet with people in person, in addition to be able to receive potential goals online. There's 4 dates that I'm proposing right now. You talked about doing it on a Tuesday night. The Tuesday, March 5th and March 19th are ones that are possibility. Because it is a Tuesday night, we can't do a 7 o'clock start since it need to be a special meeting. And so we could either do a 5 p.m. to 7 or a 6 to 8. As you're looking at your calendars, is there a preference? And this is just a discussion time in order for us to come to consensus on this.
March 5th would be better for me.
Yeah, I'm the same way, March 5th is better.
Yeah, also me. I can't do March 19th.
So March 5th works for everybody, is what I'm hearing? Okay, and then do you have a preference for either a 5 o'clock start or a 6 o'clock start?
I'd prefer 6 for my work schedule.
6.
6.
I think 6 would be better for the community also.
Okay,
That's-
so have a, now, I'm trying to figure out if I'm doing something wrong, so.
No, I'm just going to ask the city attorney a quick question about special meeting.
Okay, whether it's a special meeting or not, and I don't know. And the intent with this, what we were talking about is we didn't want to just have a microphone that people came to, but instead we would have tables set up with the different areas within the city. I've given you a list where I'm interested in doing the external relations, the WSU, so anything that's external relations and airport, but then we have the group that's the admin, finance, communication, HRIT, another one, community development, economic development, GIS planning, housing topic kind of falls into that one. The downtown revitalization, police, fire, and then within that group, they tend to be the ones that are dealing with the homelessness, the opioids, the suicide, the mental health, library, parks, facilities, and recreation. That would include also the aquatic centers when you get into the parks, facilities, and then the eighth area, which is the public works, streets, stormwater, transit. So that's traffic, and then bypass would actually fit into that one too. So there, and this is an opportunity to be able to select which one that you'd be interested in covering that table during this period of time. Are there opportunity to jump? Yes.
I just
Eric?
have a clarifying question. So the
Yes.
vision for this goal setting is that there'll be tables set up around these areas, and then we, as council folk, are we going to help facilitate the conversation, or what's our role at these tables?
So, what we talked about at goal setting was to have Post-it notes so people could write on Post-it notes to put onto that area, but also to have someone they could have a discussion with too, that we'd want to capture that information to be able to then pass to the rest of the council in preparation for goal setting.
Thank you for
Yes.
reiterating that. In that case, I'll jump in, and I jump into the admin finance communication table.
Okay?
And if I could add tourism into one of these categories, I would gladly do that, but right now I'm looking at number 3, community development.
And that's,
et cetera.
and tourism kind of falls in that area.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Okay.
So I know for me, the mental health, homelessness, suicide, that's, yeah,
Okay.
definitely, and addiction, opioids, so yeah.
I saw your hands up. Carla?
Yeah, I have a preference for public works.
Okay. And Tremaine?
Please put me down for parks, facilities, and recreation.
I got 2 left.
I mean, obviously, I could do either one, downtown or library.
Megan?
Yeah, my preference was community development, but I can do either one. I mean, I know that Councilmember Parks, you have a relationship with.
Oh, your
the library.
microphone.
I do, yeah, so, I mean, but yes, so I can definitely do that. Both have involvement, or have had with the DPA too, so
Yeah.
we're both familiar. So
I
I'm
I can
happy-
do the downtown revitalization,
Okay.
Okay.
We can share how,
and we can share housing.
If it pleases the mayor and the
Yes.
council, can I just go back over and make sure I captured all this properly
Yes.
for the advertisement? So for the external relations, airport table, Mayor Benjamin.
Yes.
Admin finance, number 2, Councilmember Fajarin. Number 3, adding tourism, Councilmember Wright. Number 4, downtown revitalization, Councilmember Guido. Number 5, fire, police, mental health, Councilmember Weller. Number 6, library, Councilmember Parks. Number 7, parks, facilities, recreation, Councilmember Gaither. And number 8, public works, stormwater, transit, Councilmember Delira.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, and we're still working on the location where this will be, and so the final, but with this, we can then put this together, start getting the messaging out related to this public. And then the last question I had for tonight was related to the goal setting. Obviously, we're going to be, in addition to this public input, we're in March going to be having opportunity for people to submit goals electronically too. But for the goal setting, would you prefer that to be a Tuesday evening or Saturday morning? Historically, we've taken 3 hours to do the goal setting, and we could do, a Tuesday evening or a Saturday morning. It just depends, what, do you have a preference?
I like Saturday morning, but
Yeah.
I cede to if it's what's best for the staff also, because that's a ask for them.
Yeah, I think traditionally we've done Saturdays or something along those lines, but,
just seems like it's more productive.
well,
We're fresh.
Saturdays.
Is that, so, okay, so I will work on potential Saturday dates to bring back to you related to that. And thank you, just as we move forward with that, and especially for the productive time that we had with the retreat. I feel that it's really setting us up for the goal setting and coming up with some very, very strategic and purposeful goals. And is there any new business to come before us? If not, then we do have an executive session. At this time, City Council will adjourn to executive session pursuant to RCW 4230 110, 1B, to consider the selection of a site or the acquisition of real estate by lease or purchase when public knowledge regarding such consideration would cause the likelihood of price increase. The executive session is expected to last 10 minutes. If it becomes necessary to extend the executive session, someone will return to announce the anticipated additional time needed by the City Council. The Council does not anticipate taking action following the executive session. It's 8:32 now, so we will, is there any preparation staff needs for this?
If we can start at 8:35, staff would appreciate that.
Great. So we'll start at 8:35 with executive session.
City Council's extending their executive session for 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
So I'm calling, yes. So it's 8:48, calling us back into session. With that, I'd entertain a motion and a second to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, I need a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
Second. All those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.